Hello, everybody. Um, I'm just getting everything set up. We're going to have a little bit of a different show today. Kind of weird. Okay. I think we should be okay. Except now I'm getting feedback because I'm trying to stream on Rumble too. It's really weird. I need to figure out how to make that not do that. If you didn't know, though, we stream live on a few different platforms. Um, hmm. Oh, I think maybe I'm okay now. All right. I think I might have figured it out. So, yay! Welcome to the Right or Die show. Like I said, today we're doing a little something different. I do not have a guest lined up for today. So, I haven't had a solo episode in quite some time. So I thought, first I debated, I was like, well, I could just take a break. And I'm like, oh, but I haven't done a solo episode in a while. So maybe I ought to do that. So that's what I'm going to do. Um, if you are new to the Right or Die show, I generally have a guest with me, but we talk about mental health from our guest's personal experience. So today, I guess it's mine, huh? Um, the show has been going now for 5 years. We're coming close to 300 episodes, which to me is insane. I never thought I'd get this far. And at the same time, obviously, I wanted to. But, for those of us that have autism and all the different things, sometimes we really want something. And then there's just, other things that happen that prevent us from getting there. But I love the show so much. So I am all in all the time and I love it and stay with me here. So what's been going on in life? A lot of different things. I mean, I've shared a little bit about my life here and there on episodes, so I'm not going to bore you with all the other details, past details, because you can go watch other episodes. But there's been a lot of other things that have come up since the last time that I've done a solo episode. First, let's talk about the most recent tragedy in my life. My doggo. My doggo. Oh, my doggo. So Freddie, the best doggo in the world, um, 13 years old, and last month we had to say goodbye to him. So last month was so. You ever feel like you're just kind of floating through, like you're present, but you're not really there. You're almost having an out of body experience type deal. That's what all of last month felt like because it was trying things from the vet, seeing that they weren't working, and having to make that decision to say goodbye to him, which was horrific. If you've ever had a pet, you know that it's awful. And I don't know, I might get some flack for this, but it was worse saying goodbye to him than it was saying goodbye to my brother. Because your pets, right? Freddie was actually my daughter's service dog. Um, but your pets are who you're with all the time, right? I'd be like, okay, Freddie, time to have a nap. Be, Saturday afternoon. He'd be like, oh, nap, all right, and come over and get all snuggly. And he was the most snuggly dog ever in the whole world. So saying goodbye to him was the most difficult thing that I've had to do in a very long time. And for those who grieve the loss of a best friend, I mean, that's your buds. You know, I feel you. It's absolutely horrific. We were lucky enough that we were able to do it at home, which not everybody's lucky enough to do. So we did it down in the basement in his favorite spot, and my kid actually made him a chocolate cake because obviously dogs can't have chocolate. But it being his last thing, it didn't make much of a difference. He really liked it. He really enjoyed it. And then after they put in the like sleepy medicine or whatever, we gave him, well, my husband and he gave him the whole big bucket of cookies. So he had his whole face in this giant thing of cookies. So he definitely went to sleep very happy in his giant cookies. So it was just really sucky month, just really sucky month. And so I definitely have been slacking on my regular stuff, which would be, of course, maintaining the Writer Die Show schedule and other things. So that's why I actually don't have a guest today, is because I was a little behind on life. But then I also thought it was a great opportunity to talk to everybody. So here we are. Trying to make myself not cry because I miss my bub. It's so strange when you lose when you lose anybody, but when you lose a pet, the strangest things will make you tear up. So we've got two other dogs still, Daphne and Zen. And we have this routine where we walk them at night, my husband and I. We get their leashes on and we get our shoes on, and I always say to him, "Hun, do you have a poop bag?" Right? Seems totally normal. However, that first walk after it happened, I go, "Hun, do you have a poop?" And I start bawling. And I'm like, "We don't need a poop bag." Because the other two, they go number two in the backyard. Freddie was the one that always would never poop in the backyard. You had to take him for a walk. He did not go in his backyard. And I'm just bawling because we don't have to pick up poop anymore. And it's funny because it's those little things that really just is so sad. And then when you wake up in the morning, you don't hear the thump 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 of his tail because he whacked it off of everything. It's just it's so devastating and heartbreaking. But like I said, we were lucky enough to do it at home, and we the other two were able to say goodbye. They went over and gave him his sniffs and goodbyes, which was really important to me because I really didn't want them to just, oh, he's just gone. What the heck happened to him? And them trying to be looking for him because they're a very close-knit little pack. So I do have to go pick up his ashes from the vet probably tomorrow. So I hate thinking about it, but gotta remember to do it. So I guess if I say it, maybe I'll remember it. Who knows? But anyway, so I got myself back on track. So I do have a bunch of awesome guests lined up for the next 2 months. As you might not know if you weren't a guest, but I do 2 months at a time of scheduling. So I've got a great lineup for the next 2 months. We will be hitting that 300 episode in the summer. What craziness to me. And along with that, I've been doing a lot of thinking about the show as a whole. I mean, not last month, but the show as a whole. As we came up to the 5-year anniversary of the show, I really wanted to have stuff organized so I can make a big announcement. Oh, it's life. But there's some cool stuff going on. I know how people feel about AI, and I don't use it for my books or nothing like that. Absolutely not. They are all written by me, all hand drawn by either myself or my kid. Let's get that out of the way. All that stuff is everything I write is me. But for my show, the logo, I was like, I don't know what I want for a logo. So I threw it in chat because I did want to update the logo. The logo it's a little out of date. And to be quite honest, I did pay somebody to create the logo that's, up in that corner over there, where it's the little book and the pen or whatever. I think they probably just AI'd it, to be honest. It's so simplistic, and I paid somebody to do that. So this time I'm like, I'm not paying somebody to do it. Let's just see what I can come up with. Throw it into chat, all the things I wanted. The picture they gave me is really, really stinking cool. So I think as much as, like I said, I absolutely do not use it for my work, my actual selling books. I think this new logo from Chad it's going to be the new logo. It's really cool. I had to kind of talk myself into it a little bit because, like I said, it is AI, and I was just using it for an idea, but it turned out better than the one that I paid for. So that kind of hurt my feelings a little bit because when you're paying money, you really want it to be worth what you're paying. And we need to support creatives. 100% we need to. I'm all down for that. So yeah, we have this really cool new logo that's going to be coming out soon. I'm just trying to I'll probably do some finishing touches on it a little bit more, less, take it into my hands a little bit more and do some edits to it. So that's really cool. Very excited for that. It's very pretty, very pretty. And then, I'm trying to think of some other ways to just keep the show kind of going because I don't like to talk about money, but it does take a lot of money and time to do these things. So I do have my Substack. you guys can go over there, be a paid subscriber. That would super help keep the show going. Yay! Or of course we have our merch store. I haven't put new merch on in a while, so I think that we got to get some new merch up there. That would be very cool. Just to, again, freshen things up, get it all going. And I'm trying to plan something for the 300th episode. Shoot me your ideas down in the comments. I'd love some feedback on what that 300th episode should be like, because that would be super, super cool to do something there. Now, let's talk about something else. I'm wiggling around a lot. I mean, I'm always wiggling around a lot. However, let's talk about something else that isn't talked about a lot on the show, because obviously mental health is the focus, but we do talk about like chronic illness and neurodevelopmental and all that other stuff. Let's talk chronic illness for a minute, just because the weather is killing me and I want to curl up in a ball and die. And I'm not even being figurative at this moment. So I was trying to explain to my husband the other day how it worked, because he knows that I'm in pain a lot. So I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, I don't know, 4 years ago, something like that. And when you go from being a very high level athlete, I was in kickboxing for like a decade, went on Team Canada, all the things. When you are competing at that level, and then all of a sudden your body says, nah, fam, we're not doing that. It's devastating. Like, oh, I gained so much weight because I was so devastated that I couldn't do things, which doesn't actually help you do things. But when you're depressed, that happens. That's a whole other issue that I'm trying to deal with. But when it comes to fibromyalgia, you get flare-ups, and then there's arthritis, and that can have flare-ups, and just the level of pain of this past week has been, as I'm describing it to my husband earlier in the week, has been to a normal, a regular, not chronic pain person, I would say a level like 100. Like it's feels like I have a knife in my back right now and just shattering everything else that's going on, which makes it really hurt to think. Even last week I left work early because it hurt so bad, and there's nothing to do about it in this moment. I mean, Tylenol helps a bit, but laying flat down on my stomach is the only thing that gives a modicum, that in my hot tub, modicum of relief. So anyways, I'm trying to explain to him, because he's like, how do you even live? Like, seriously, how do you live? Because he's trying to wrap his head around it, because I'm like saying, yeah, okay, I'm going to come walk the dogs. Meanwhile, I'm like shuffling around like I'm 80 years old. It's like, if you're in that much pain, don't come. I'm like, yeah, but at the same time, if I do nothing, that just makes the pain worse too. So you're stuck in this, what's better, doing nothing or doing a little something? So I'm trying to explain to him, a regular person's level 10 for me is like a level 6-ish. I'm like, and I probably live around a level 8, which when this stuff first started happening was like in tears on the ground. Now I can manage the tears, even though they want to come out, and mostly manage the day, manage to get through it. But it's not easy. It is not easy at all. So next week I do have an appointment. I'm going to get nerve ablation. If you don't know what a nerve ablation is, look it up. It sucks a lot. It helps though. So it's about quality of life, and the quality of life without them really, really sucks. The quality of life with them, hey, I can do things. Yay. It just wish it was like a longer term solution, when it is very much not. So a nerve ablation, they stick some giant needles into your spine between your vertebrae. This is my condensed version. Stick some needles in between your spine. They use radio frequency to burn those nerves, and it hurts very, very much. But it gives the best relief of what's happening right now. So that's super fun thing that I deal with on a regular, that I don't usually talk about on the show, just because it's not super relevant to the conversation I'm having with our guests. So yeah, that's super fun. Just, I want to connect with you guys a little more. So let's share a little bit. And then the other thing that I really want to share, I mean, y'all should know I'm a writer. That should be obvious. My next book, it is coming out on June 20th, which is so crazy soon at this point. And it is an edition 2. of Goodbye Too Soon, which is the story of how I found out and helped my mom plan my brother's funeral, my brother who died by drug overdose. This one, though, even though if you've read version like the original that came out 5 years ago now, this one has a crap ton new content. Like, I'm talking a lot of new content. I went much deeper with the emotions. It really helps after you've been through therapy to deal with some of the stuff. And I went way further into coping strategies and way further into research on drugs and bullying and that kind of thing. There's even pictures. I put some pictures. I was a very cute baby. I was just saying. I was a little cute, chubby baby. So there's some pictures in this one too, which kind of fun. Um, so yeah, June 20th, it's coming out. You can pre-order it on Amazon right now. Once it comes out, it'll be like on all the things. But pre-order it now on Amazon for your Kindle edition. It's called Goodbye Too Soon, A Family's Lost by Drug Overdose. Make sure you got that subtitle in there so that you get the right copy. Eventually, I need to take off the other one. I'm just trying to figure out how do I get the reviews from my first one to like stay, because they were pretty good. I don't want to lose them. And yeah, see, the reviews are very good. So get this copy because the last one was so good. This one's even better. On that line of thought, I feel like I'm just verbal diarrheaing here, but I guess that's what happens when I'm just talking to essentially no one, but I'm talking to y'all. And so along that thought line of this book coming out, this book is getting turned into a movie. It will be my first indie film. What? So excited. Ooh, we should have some like music to that little. Is it gonna work? Is it gonna work? So I'm so excited. I have done two drafts of the script. So it's quite far along. It's going to be a feature film, aiming for about an hour and a half movie length. I have no idea what I'm doing, and it's fantastic, and I love learning as I go. It is so much fun. I mean, when I was little, I'm a drama kid, if you couldn't tell. And so growing up, I used to write plays and stuff. Directed one at my church as a teenager, and then I took all the drama classes in school. I was in all the school plays in elementary school. I was the Queen of Hearts in the Trial of Alice in Wonderland. So that was fun. And that was a non-singing part because I can't sing, but it was a main lead, and I'm like, the main lead doesn't have a song. Yes, this is perfect for me. So the movie's coming. I don't know when it's coming out, but we are in the early stages. But it's really exciting that the script is now at the point that we have to. I say we because I have my co-director, who I've convinced to do this with me. I'm either a really great influence because I have all these ideas, or a really bad influence because I have all these ideas. It's still up for debate depending on the day. But so we're at the point that we're going to do like a little mini read through to make sure all the dialogue makes sense. Because there's when you're writing it, it sounds good in your head and what you're doing, but to read it back and forth as like an actual conversation with someone, huge difference. So we're at that stage, which is really cool. We're going to be doing a Kickstarter to raise money for it. So keep your eyes peeled for that, because even a couple dollars goes a long way in the indie film world. So we're going to be doing that. I've been doing some research on how all of that stuff works. And it's super cool because we're taking that book, and it really is the story of finding out that my brother was dead and how to plan it. And it's all from the sister perspective. So from the family's perspective, which I think is really cool because you're getting that, the idea is to get that emotional depth of how the trauma hits you, because it's all the emotions. When you lose somebody, I mean, you have all the emotions anyways, but when you lose somebody suddenly and to really a disease, an illness, whatever you want to call it, addiction, it hits in a different way. Because I've lost my grandparents, and they live a long life, and yes, I'm sad, especially no more cookies, but like, at least they lived a long, awesome life. When somebody dies suddenly from an addiction, it's like, well, what was the point of their life? And I'm mad at you. Like, I was pissed off at him for a while there, hence the therapy. Why couldn't you just make better decisions? Even though in my head I know, okay, this is an illness and there's not really super control over it, but like, get some friggin' help, right? Like this is all the emotions I'm going through as I'm fine dealing with the loss of him. So this is what I'm hoping to portray in this movie, because not everybody wants to listen to the show, but you should. But not everybody knows about it. Yes, people know that addiction exists. You can go walk around anywhere in, at least in my area, in Southern Ontario as a whole even, and you're going to be like, and I hear this a lot, oh, that's Crackhead Central over there and things like that. And that's just, oh, it's so irritating because it is an illness. What is the answer? I don't have the answer. I'm not saying I have the answer, but just pointing out that those people are addicted to something doesn't solve the problem either. Like, it's just very, very frustrating. And like I said, I don't have an answer. I wish I did, but the answer definitely isn't pointing and staring and laughing or crossing the street away from them or, thinking that they're useless. Like that's not the answer. Getting them help is the answer, but how do you get them help? And that is the answer I don't have. So hopefully somebody a lot smarter than me might have an answer. Who knows? I don't think there's one specific thing that's going to solve the problem. It's going to be a multitude of things, I'm sure. But that is why I think this movie is so important. And hopefully y'all agree with me, because, there's some naysayers in my life, and you know what I say to them? Too stinking bad, it's happening. Literally, I've said that. I'm not gonna call them out. You know who you are. But I think it's gonna be great. We are, tonight I plan to do some of the character sheets. I have the characters written out, but I need to get them a little more on paper, because if I'm going to find people to play these characters, well, how the heck am I going to do that if they don't know what I'm looking for? So that is my plan tonight. We'll cross our fingers. We'll see how the back is holding up. I've taken some Tylenol. We'll see. I don't know. But the nice thing about having a laptop is I can lay down while I write. I do that a lot. I get a lot of my stuff written while I'm, as I like to say, horizontal, because being vertical I can only do for so long. So that's really fun. But I'm super excited for this project, and knowing me, I'm going to make this movie and say, okay, I always said I was going to make a movie and that'll be done. But I also said that about writing a book, and now I'm like 10 books in. So I think what you're hearing right now is this will be the first of many indie films to come. And I'm trying to do it all right. I want it to be great. I think it will be. I know it will be. I shouldn't say I think. I know it will be great. So yeah, I'm super excited for this project. So keep your ears and eyes open on, the Facebook, the Insta, TikTok, all the things. I'll be posting lots of stuff, and, show your support if you are, financially capable of showing your support through the Kickstarter once it's up. And if not, then just share it, because sharing also helps us to find people that can help us financially get this up and going, which is so much fun. I'm stoked. Like, it's gonna be great. Coming full circle to how I started this episode, though, it was also so devastating. And when I went to go through and do some edits to the script, there were a couple scenes that Freddie was in. My boy, my lovely, lovely boy that I said goodbye to last month. Because I started this script last year, and he had a couple scenes in there where it was just, the main character and him. I keep saying main character, but I mean, ultimately the main character is me, because it is a true life story. It's just weird to think of it that way. But so he's in there, trying to write the eulogy, and because animals have such a great spirit and give us such support, that it's the way that I can show a coping strategy without being too like, and you know what a coping strategy is? Well, it's hanging out with your pets or going outside for a walk. And I don't want all that, right? Like, it needs to be a film. It's a drama. So, it was just hanging out with the dog. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, it literally says, hey, Freddie, this is really hard or whatever. And I'm like, I start crying, because obviously he specifically won't be in the movie. And I just breaks my heart. It breaks my heart, because it was such a good boy. He would have been the perfect boy to, sit, stay. This is what you're doing. The other two, I mean, they're snuggly and all, but Daphne is not a big fan of strangers, so she wouldn't be any good in like a scene that has other people. And Zen is just a very hyper boy, so he may be great at it. We'll see. I'm not 100% sure. I might have to maybe go grab one of my cats. They might be a little more down for it. I'm not sure, but it was really heartbreaking when, I had this plan for Fred, and I mean, he's up in heaven with my diamond, with my girl, and oh, I hate it. I hate it so much, guys. I just hate it so much. But enough of the tears. But I'm super excited again for the film. It's going to, I have no idea when it's going to be done, but we are working very hard to get all the behind the scenes crap done that needs to be done, and figure out how to go about doing all that stuff. I'm so excited. It's going to be a blast to film. It's going to be so much fun to share out, and the message that's going to come with it is just so amazing. Like, it's going to be epic. It's going to be such a milestone, I think, for my career anyways. It's gonna be awesome. I don't think there's anything else big to announce. Those were kind of the major things I wanted to make sure to announce to everybody, because I don't often come on to anything and make my own announcements, because I try to make it all about the guests. Of course I share, because we're conversating. I love that free flow of conversation, but I still want to focus on the guests. So those are some of the really big things coming up. I wanted to give a shout out though to my publicist, Mickey. You're awesome. Sometimes we might get in a little argument. No, you're awesome. So I want to give a shout out and a huge thank you for all that you do to help me and keep me on track. Because it can't possibly be easy. No, I am not. I'm easy, but I'm not. That can't possibly be great. But I'm super excited. So go pre-order your book and keep up to date with all the things that are happening. So go subscribe to the Substack. I mean, you can read everything on the Substack for free, but it's if you can support, obviously, please do. Super helpful. There was something that popped into my head and then I have been pondering, and I think it's going to come, but it's going to be a little bit down the road. I had done some episodes with a friend about history of mental health stuff, which I absolutely love, and I want to keep doing it. Our only problem is time and life and getting together and doing it, the stuff. So that is it's been on the back burner for a while now. We only had a handful of episodes last year. I'm going to bring that back forward. We called those segments Bedlam, history of mental health, and we are going to be bringing them back. I don't know exactly when. They might be premium episodes, though, because they are such a tricky thing to do. So stay tuned for those, because it's so very interesting, and I really want to revisit that, because I find the history of mental illness, I was going to say crazy, but yeah. I love it. It's so interesting. I already have the research done for schizophrenia. I did it last year, and then we just hadn't been able to connect and really sit down to record an episode. So I mean, and schizophrenia research is done. That episode's going to come out. I just don't know when. I have to actually record it. I don't know if maybe we can find time to do it together, or if it's just gonna be me yammering along to all y'all. But it's definitely gonna come, because I thought those episodes were so much fun, and this is what it's about. It's about fun, and it's about raising awareness. And what better way to do that than also talk about the history of things and where we came from and where we're going? That's pretty cool. So that was the thought that popped into my head. That was the other big announcement that I thought, hey, that'd be really cool to let everybody know. So that is it for me for today. Thank you for listening to all of my rambling, and I hope everybody subscribes to the channel, share, like. We talk about some really important stuff. I mean, today I talked about important stuff to me, but that's okay. So share these episodes out, hit the like, subscribe button, and be on the lookout for all of those upcoming things related to the movie. Well, obviously related to the book too. June 20th, that's when it's coming out, June 20th, because that would have been my brother's birthday. So that is when the book is set to launch, so you can pre-order that right now, and then the Kickstarter will be happening probably shortly after that, is my guess, my hope. I'm not 100%, but that is big hope. So again, thank you, and remember, the only way to end the stigma of mental health is to speak openly and honestly.